All right, so we have the media coverage, and I love this. And we're going to hear a quote here. I'm going to pull up some of her video interviews that she had. So Rep. Hernandez says, and this is what's crazy. You would think if she, how about this? And another desktop warrior. Okay, she's complaining about people being in her county, people being down there, the YouTubers and the bloggers. How about this? I haven't seen you out in front of the Guthrie house, and maybe she has, and maybe someone can, correct me here. But have we seen her out in front of the Guthrie house being concerned, showing concern for a person in her community that's high profile? Has she been out front of the Guthrie house? And she's going to back out and say, hey, look, I'm not law enforcement. This doesn't come down to me. Bullshit. You want to scream about people being out there, and you want the legacy media there, but you don't want any local coverage because you want this case covered in a certain way. That's why. And what we're getting with real-time events now, and what we're getting with real-time coverage is this. You're getting the straight facts and the truth. It's not going through a filter. And that's what you're pissed about, because you're seeing real-time, what's JL streaming like, 12 hours, 16 hours a day down there? That's what you're getting. Unfiltered thoughts, unfiltered coverage, not something that's taped and recorded and played back. Right. Oliver has a good point. Says, why would you use your official position to advocate for something opposed of Nancy being found? Exactly. So let's see this. Rep. Hernandez, as someone who lives and represents Tucson, Pima County, I'm sick of watching the reporting, grifting, insane speculation, lies, and BS by random wannabe journalists and YouTubers who have now caused more harm than good this entire situation, and put this serious case in jeopardy. How about this? How about you go knock on the fucking sheriff's door and ask him why he's not doing more? How about you ask him, how can you send this to a lab and say that you feel confident and you're going to go over and not work with the FBI at that point? And now we have issue with DNA samples that could be mixed. How about if you don't go down? How about you go down there and ask Sheriff Nanos, why is the crime scene not corded off from the public? Why was there no yellow crime scene tape? And we're still here in day 22. And you fucking think that they would get it with all the people that have been calling this out? At least go out there and put some stakes in the ground, some friggin', instead of just cording off where you want people to drive, you might have got a point by now to say, hey, probably want to go out there and put some yellow crime scene tape out. It might be a good look that we got this under control, right? So it says, stop following them during SWAT operations and playing detectives. I'm so sick of the constant lies from those who can't even spell Tucson and clearly have never been to our city. Well, how about this? I guarantee you a lot of legacy media and mainstream media people that have been down there probably haven't been to Tucson as much either. Okay? And thankfully that people are there, because when the mainstream media, and I just said this a couple of minutes ago, decide to pack up and leave, the only ones that are probably going to be down there are the local YouTubers and bloggers that you don't want talking about this case, okay, under the freedom of speech and the First Amendment, that they're the ones that are going to continue the coverage and put pressure on the local law enforcement down there. And that's really what this is about. And keep the public aware, the public eye on this case, because you want it to go away. Because you know why? You know Nano's fucked up. And that's just my opinion. So let's go here. The home is not near downtown or midtown, so posting random videos of people walking in yards ain't it, y'all. No, Mexicans don't look all the same. Yes, our sheriff should probably stay off social media and not speak to the press anymore. That's the real problem here. That's what she's pissed about, because it's making her county look bad. Because you know why? This guy ain't got it under control. This guy ain't got it under control. That's what's going on. Mimi, and I guarantee you Brian Ensign will be there because he's locked in and he's locked in and he's done some fabulous reporting down there. Fortunately, Brian Ensign's mentioned a few days ago that he had no intention of leaving anytime soon. Awesome. And I don't see JLR leaving either. I think he's going to be there for quite a while. So it says, yes, this is sad and we all want Nancy home, but seriously, please stop. Go home. Hashtag Nancy Guthrie. Okay, sure. I think you're just embarrassed that your sheriff ain't getting it done and fucked this up from the beginning and should have worked with the FBI. And I'm telling you, a report doesn't just come from somewhere and someone makes something up. I think there was a lot of tension between the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI when this investigation started. When the FBI came knocking, said, hey, we're here to come in and help and intervene and take over some of this part of this investigation or take it over and fully. That's when the tension happened between the Pima County Sheriff's Department. That's when Nano says, oh, no, tighten his belt, tighten his bootstraps, and said, how dare they come into my county and take over? Because we heard about it. What, 2015, 2016, being investigated for misappropriating funds by the FBI. That guy had a big fucking chip on his shoulder since then. That's what this is about. So now we have a response. Oh, wait, with all due respect, maybe do some research before blaming me on how investigations should be handled. I'm not a city official. I'm not a county official. I don't run the department of the task force. I'm not a law enforcement agent. I love the backing up now. Jurisdiction is a thing. Look it up. I've been crystal clear. I don't think this has been handled well, and I am not. And I have not been a supporter of the sheriff, which again, y'all would know if you took the time to look. It's really not that hard. I've been see the backpedaling now because she's been called out a lot online on X. People are just coming at her. I've been crystal clear that this is not my issue, and the people covering this responsibly, nor is the coverage of Miss Guthrie reporting facts and stirring up conspiracies like they are two very different hobbies. But this is fascinating. Truly, some of you are outraged that I called out the nonsense then you're about in actually nonsense being spread. This misinformation, fine. The conspiracy theories, no problem. Me saying, hey, it's irresponsible. Suddenly, I'm the villain. She's the victim now. She's the victim now. I love it because you made a statement. People came at you, didn't like it. So now you're going to play victim. That's what this is. If accountability feels like an attack, it's probably something to unpack. But if you're looking for an apology or me to thank those who are spreading their nonsense, you will not get that. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Nanos was already under FBI investigation for misappropriating funds. Yeah, I think 2015 or 16, right? 2015 or 16. I think that's what it is. Hang on a second here. Just getting a breather and setting a goal. Let's set a goal. I like goals. Maybe we can achieve the goal. Can we achieve the super chat goal? I should have started it earlier, right? Let's start one now. Right? All right. Did she shut her comments off, Brian? I don't know. But let's go. And then she was getting poked at a little bit more here. Zach Peter is a comedian, has been kind of following this case as well. Kind of came back. I'm not going to read through all her tweet, but I want to read some of his response. As representative, with all due respect, if you want to talk about responsibility, you should go take some for this disastrous investigation. Streamers are doing nothing that the media hasn't done for decades, covering the story in real time, and that is fact. Fear, you're not upset with them, but more upset that the fact that they are exposing the sheer incompetence of the Pima County Sheriff and his search efforts. Fact. Okay, we just talked about this. Fact. I get it. If I were your position, I would too. Probably want people to stop talking about what a disaster this is, all under your watch too. And that is the thing. She came out. She said some stuff. She didn't like the response. And then she wanted to play victim. She's going to backpedal. I'm not this. I'm not a law enforcement agent. I'm not an official. I'm not that. Exactly, Jeremy. Spitting facts. Love it. Love the response. I love this.